Welcome to Foglight Video Solutions. This video will cover how to add a new Azure SQL database agent to a SQL Server-based PI repository. My name is John Sakalauskas, and I'm a technical product specialist for the Foglight product. This video will cover how to add a single Azure SQL database agent with SQL PI. SQL PI capability for Azure SQL database agents has been included in the 5.9.7.20 and higher releases of the Azure SQL database cartridges. The prerequisites requirements include that instance connections are made through JDBC. An valid active connection port is available. The default port is 1433. A valid Azure SQL database URL and database name is available. An available SQL Server 2016 or higher instance as described in Null-Based Article 289910, and a directory on the SQL Server database server where the SQL Server PI repository is located. Please review the Foglight for Databases deployment guide for additional requirements. To begin, log into the Foglight web console with your Foglight user. If necessary, click on Databases to access the Databases dashboard. Click on Monitor and select Azure SQL. The Monitor Azure Instance Setup GUI should display in a simple format, requesting the needed set of configurations for creating a single instance. Agent Manager specifies the agent manager that is used to discover the instance. The name shown in blue is usually defaulted based on the agent manager with the least amount of instances already deployed against it. This helps with load balancing and sizing that affects performance. If multiple agent managers appear, click the host name to change the agent manager if desired. Connection details is where the Azure SQL Server host name is entered. An information eye is available for a pop-up with more details. Database name is used to specify the SQL database name. Port is required for Azure SQL databases where the TCP/IP connection is a port other than the default value of 1433. If the value is not specified, the default value of 1433 will be used. Specify login credentials is used to enter a username and password to log into the database. An information eye is available for a pop-up with more details. Azure Active Directory AD authentication is used to log in through the Azure Active Directory account. Enter username in an email format. SQL Server authentication is used to log in through a SQL Server account. Under configuration, a checkbox is available to choose to automatically generate the new agent name based on the server name and database name, or it can be overridden with a custom name by unchecking the box and filling in a different name. We will now review the licensing agreement. During the first time a PI extension is added, the license agreement must be accepted. Click the blue Accept License Agreement text. A pop-up will display. Review the licensing agreement and then click the Accept button to continue to use SQL PI. Enable the SQL PI checkbox. The next pop-up may list the prerequisites for the PI repository server and the available agent managers for the SQL PI agents to be installed on. Select the agent manager, then click the Apply button. The first SQL PI agent will be added to the agent manager if it already doesn't exist. If prompted, now we will specify the server name, port, database name, and log information for the SQL Server-based PI repository. This instance should have been created separately, as per KB Article 289910. There are two methods for login connections. Specify the login credentials by either SQL Server or Active Directory authentication. Once the connection information has been entered, click the Next button. A pop-up to create the SQL PI schema is presented. This gives the option to create a new PI repository database or to use an existing PI repository database. To create a new database, use the default database name provided, or replace the value with a custom name. Adding a primary file group location and a transaction log location is optional. If these values are not entered, the values will come from the settings previously used to create the instance. Then enter directory name for the raw data. This directory must already exist on the SQL Server instance and is used to store short-term 1-minute data. Alternatively, if a SQL Server PI repository database already exists for the database agents, a radio button and pull-down list is available to choose it. Once complete, click the Finish button. A pop-up will appear to confirm that a new database should be created. Click the Monitor button to create the agent with SQL PI. A pop-up will appear to confirm that a new database should be created. After a few minutes, once the installer process is completed, The new database agent will be created and a pop-up will appear to either add another database agent or to close the installer wizard. A short time later, the new database agent will appear in a Global View database dashboard and the SQL PI will be available to use. To learn more about Foglight for databases, visit us at support.quest.com. For quick support questions, follow us at Quest Experts on Twitter.